Hey guys, Jake with Evolving Daily. Today I'm going to talk about shooting a little bit of long range on a budget. I used to shoot long range quite a bit, but now I've got other hobbies, can't spend as much money hitting steel out at distance as I used to. So now I shoot a little bit shorter and shoot a whole lot cheaper. And when you talk to a lot of guys, shooting long range and shooting cheap don't mix at all. Most guys have a $3,000 or $4,000 rifle and $2,000 worth of glass and rings, bedding, and it's just not what I want to be doing right now. So I go out and shoot my 223, it's a Savage 10, on an FC, FCP, whatever abbreviation. Just a Savage 10, 223, got a El Cheapo $200 piece of glass on it and cheap rings. And I wanted to go out and see what kind of readily available or cheap ammo I could shoot and get decent accuracy. So gathered up 6 or 7 different types of ammo, some from Walmart, some from a local gun shop that was a lot more expensive, but just to see how much accuracy was lost between $30 a box and $10 a box, what people usually just jam through an AR. And I ordered some Freedom Munitions ammo. I was ordering a bunch of 9mm, grabbed a box there, 223, just to see how bad it was. So now we'll take a look at those on the big sheet, and then we'll do a tabletop close-up type thing later. So now we'll do a brief overview. Had a few different types of ammo. This target was at a little over 100 yards, about 110, 115 yards, and this was at 200. So it's a 100-yard target. Winchester, it was a 5.56 round, not sure, it's in a red, white, and blue box. Couldn't even find online what it was, but it was loaded like a 193 military round. At 100 yards, 7 shots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2 and 5/8 inches. I had 7. I don't know why I didn't just shoot 5, but shot 7, 2 and 5/8 inches. Kind of sucks dick, but was expected out of bulk load type ammo. And it was, bought it for about $11. Don't know what you could get online for. Couldn't even find it online. Then Independence, it's another 193 load, 2 and 3/8 inches at 100-ish yards. Still nowhere near acceptable. It's going to print almost 5 inches at 200 yards. And I'm not the greatest shot, but it's not worth shooting as far as I'm concerned out of a bolt gun. PMC X-Tac. PMC is the brand, X-Tac's the line of ammo. 1.5 inch. That's more like what I expected out of the other surplus loads or bulk loads. 1.5 inch isn't horrible. That's going to print 3 inches at 200. You're looking at 7.5, 8 inches at 500 if you can get it to push out that far. It will go 500 yards, but if it holds together and keeps its accuracy. Did Federal 193 loads on stripper clips. Bought it at Walmart. It was around $10 a box, and you can find it online for about $8. 2 1/4 inches at 110. So still not what I'm looking for. The PMC X-Tac was about $11 a box, and the Independence was $10 a box. PMC Bronze. PMC is the brand, Bronze is the line. Surprised me, it did 7/8 of an inch. I only had 5 rounds of it. I'd like to go out and try it a couple more times. I'll buy me another box or 2 of it. It did 7/8 of an inch at 100 yards, which was pretty surprising out of PMC, or at least it was to me. This target here in the middle was Freedom Munitions out of my AR, so just an aim point, kind of just to see what I could do with it. It's about 2 inches. That's with a 2-minute dot. Was just kind of playing around. And then the one that I was really happy with was Freedom Munitions, their 55 grain full metal jacket, remanufactured. So it's not a new round. They reloaded it, or reloaded the brass. And it's a 55 grain at 110, did 7/8 of an inch here, and 7/8 of an inch here again, which is, I'm pretty happy with that, especially considering that the Freedom Munitions 55 grain full metal jacket is $16 for a box of 50. So much cheaper than any of the other ammo that I tried. You know, less than around $7 a box for 20. That's really affordable and pretty good accuracy. 7/8 of an inch at 110 yards. No, that's not tack driver, but neither is the gun, neither am I anymore, neither is the glass. Shooting off a bipod with my hand in the rear. 7/8 of an inch out of the bronze and Freedom Munitions is pretty surprising to me. So I took the Freedom and a couple other ammos, or a couple other rounds that I wanted to try out to 200. It's 203, 204, it's right at 200 yards. This is a Freedom Munitions, but I know I pulled that round. I felt it as soon as I touched the trigger off, and everybody at the range knew that I pulled it because I began screaming obscenities. Because that was going to be my best. I printed my best group for the day. That was the last round of that group. Without that flyer, it's not a flyer, I fucked it up. Without that, it was going to be about 1.5 inches at 200 yards. That's what the other 4 shots had landed. 1 here, here, and 2 in the same hole there. Another group with the Freedom Munitions was 2 1/16 of an inch, which is 2.05-ish inches, about just under 2 minutes of angle, or just under a minute of angle. Fiocchi 69 grain, which it's like 17 something I paid for it. Did 2 5/8 inches at 200 yards. And then Winchester match 69 grain, super expensive stuff. Did 2 3/8 of an inch. One I pushed a little bit. I pushed it a little left. Without it, it would be at 2 1/16 of an inch, 2.05-ish inches. Which that puts the Freedom Munitions and the Winchester match both right under 1 minute of angle, which at 200 yards would be 2.20 something, I think, if I remember right. And I'm pretty happy with that. If I can keep this cheap gun with this cheap ammo, not reloads, under a minute, out to 200 yards at least, I'm pretty happy with that. Paying $7-ish for 20 rounds. Especially when you consider this Winchester match, 69 grain, shooting about the same accuracy. I paid over $30 for it. I found it online for $25, $27, something like that, but I bought it in store for $30. Freedom Munitions, $7. I think I'll be sticking with Freedom Munitions. Now, I do understand that this 69 grain is going to have a much better flight plan out past 200 yards than a 55 grain full metal jacket. Freedom Munitions does offer 69 grain. They didn't have it in stock at the time. That's why I bought the 55. But we'll do a tabletop and look a little closer at these groups and talk a little bit more about it. One of the Freedom Munitions groups. Another at 110-ish yards. Federal 193. PMC bronze. That's a different size sticker, green sticker. PMC X-Tac, the Winchester unknown 193 load, the Independence 193 load, 200 yard line, Fiochi 69 grain, the Freedom Munitions 55 grain, and the Winchester match 69 grain with the one that I pushed a little left. And this would have been the group of the day, but the one top left I pushed real bad. That was my fault. So the gun that I used to shoot all these is a Savage 10, not any other, it's just a 10. Bought it for about $360, I think in about 2013. Stock. Does not have the active trigger. Wish it did, but for $360, I didn't really care. Bullshit sight mark, 8.5 to 25 scope. It's actually not horrible. Turrets, side adjust parallax, wobbly ass bipod. It's not floated, or it is floated, but it's not bedded. If I bear down on this stock real hard, one way or the other, the barrel will touch. Cheap piece is just off of a Co-8, or however you pronounce it, stock that I have for another one of my guns. Bullshit Burris 6-lug rings, bullshit Weaver rail. Nothing really fancy about this gun. Probably got $700-800 in it total, with scope, rings, bipod, all that all together. It's nothing extravagant, just a 223, but for going out and hitting steel out to a few hundred yards for cheap, it'll do the job, and it's really good practice for whenever I can afford to get out my big guns. So in summation, if you're looking to do some cheap, longer range shooting, you're not going to get out to 1,000 yards with this. You could, with a lot of time and patience and a big target. But if you're wanting to go out and shoot 500, 700 yard steel, get you a cheap 223, put better glass on it than I did, be a little bit easier. And if you're wanting to go real cheap on ammo, Freedom Munitions so far hasn't done me wrong at all. Sub-minute of angle at 200 yards off of bipods, or off of a bipod with no rear bag. I think that's pretty good for cheap glass, cheap gun, cheap ammo. I've got some 308 Freedom Munitions, 155 grain or 147 grain, 168, and maybe a 175, a box of 175. So I might do a full review on just a couple different flavors of Freedom Munitions. But if you're looking for some cheap ammo to go out and hit steel at a few hundred yards, I'd look into them. They're a lot cheaper than they're cheaper than some steel ammo for brass cased, remanned, 55 grain. It's not bad stuff.